Brian Foster, and this is the Grindhouse Institute. On each episode of this podcast, Jeremy Floyd and I program a triple feature movie night. Each of the movies share common themes, and we discuss them here. We're happy you could join us for today's block we call Killer TV. On this show, we've encountered our fair share of human murderers, slashers, and cannibals, even a few monsters and aliens. But today, the killer is coming from inside the house, the television. Once it's on, how do you stop it? And why would you even want to? The Freeling family is living an idyllic life in a cookie-cutter subdivision until the furniture starts moving on its own, the television starts emitting ghostly transmissions, and their daughter is kidnapped by a paranormal presence from the other side. Where is the haunting coming from? The house? The suburb? Or is it the TV? Jo Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, and Heather O'Rourke find out the hard way in Steven Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist from 1982. Sleazy Television Network executive Max Wren is on the search for the next big thing in sensationalist programming. While hacking into scrambled UHF signals, Max encounters a hidden broadcast displaying all too real lurid acts of violence and is sent down a rabbit hole of hallucinations and grisly body horror, all while merging with the Glass Teat. James Woods and Debbie Harry star in David Cronenberg's 1983 horror classic, Videodrome. Former fencing athlete and current couch potato Roy Nabel can't seem to pry himself away from the boob tube, even if it means saving his marriage. So when Roy is visited by a persuasive cable guy offering him a Faustian bargain for a brand new high-end television with all the fixins, how could he say no? John Ritter, Pam Dauber, Eugene Levy star, and Peter Hyams stay tuned from 1992. Thank you for listening to the Grindhouse Institute. Please enjoy.
They say the average American watches 7.5 hours of TV a day.
I saw an older TikTok that you put up about starting a podcast and felt personally attacked. So thank you very much for that.
That video didn't do very well, and I think it is because I am friends with so many people. There's no shame in it. Hashtag not all podcasters, but it's one of those things where I know enough dudes where I'm like, they're like always promoting the podcast. I'm like, you're the most boring person I've ever. But that does not apply to you guys.
Thank you.
That looks like Mom.
It is Mom. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Our parents are trapped in television.
Here at Hellvision, we've turned the process of soul acquisition into an entertainment extravaganza, and all for the benefit of one very demanding viewer below.
The boss himself, and I don't mean Springsteen.
Do you know a show called Videodrome? D-R-O-M-E, Videodrome, like video circus, video arena. You know it?
No.
It's just torture and murder. No plot, no characters, very, very realistic. I think it's what's next.
The television screen has become the retina of the mind's eye. That's why I refuse to appear on television, except on television.
And now, here it is, the Rita King Show. And this afternoon, Rita's guests are Max Wren, controversial president of Channel 83, and media prophet Professor Brian Oblivion. Take it away, Rena.
They're here.
All right, welcome back to the Grindhouse Institute. I'm Brian Oblivion, and with me, as always, is Jeremy Floyd. Hello, and how are you?
Good morning, Brian Oblivion. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the new flesh.
Are you My Girl Friday? Wednesday, the 23rd? Today we're talking killer TVs. We were watching Halloween 3, and I thought that this might have been a fun idea after we were watching Children's Heads Explode, watching commercials. But we're talking 3 movies where the television itself is the murderer or the murderer weapon, where the broadcast is evil and brings forth death, dismemberment, assassinations, and apparitions, all within the intention to maim its viewers. What do you think of that?
I think you just described television.
Yeah. That's everything I ever get.
Yeah.
Today's show, we'll be talking about Poltergeist from 1982, Videodrome from 1983, and Stay Tuned from 1992. And on today's show, we have a very special returning friend of the show. Jeremy, if you could please do the introduction.
Yeah. So we have a pretty fun block of weird and wacky TV-based horror films. And so we had to bring back one of our favorite guests, comedian and viral meme maker, Lauren Scharf.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello. Hopefully you've seen my memes. Happy to be
I've
back.
seen them.
Yeah.
Viral memes, huh? That's a
Viral
skill.
memes. I think I've had like 3 tweets go like
Supernova.
mondo viral.
Yeah.
3 more than I have.
Wow. What a loser.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that viral thing feels like.
Okay, it means nothing. Like
Yeah.
it means
So you're rich now, right?
you get like you suddenly get like an extra 200 followers, and then your notifications explode for about a week and a half, unless you mute it. I never mute my viral tweets because I need that serotonin.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the serotonin.
Plug it directly into my veins.
Yes,
Yeah.
please
Would you
and
say
thank
it's
you.
a broadcast from some random UHF signal that is causing strange tumors in your head or anything?
That's gotta be it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or did a vagina open up in your chest and you shove your phone directly into it?
Yeah, my phone, whatever I can.
Guns, phones, my lunch.
Yeah, guns.
The closest I've ever come to climaxing was when my tweets go viral.
A regular Max Wren.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not doing the right cigarette burns during sex then, I guess it sounds like.
Not at all, no.
Yeah.
The blondie burns?
Yeah.
Or the needle pokes.
Yeah.
You let somebody cut you?
Uh-huh. What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
You want to try a few things?
I need to get slapped around a bit more by my Twitter.
Yeah. And it turns out just to be a hallucination, maybe?
Yeah.
So have you seen any of these movies?
This was my first time seeing any of them.
Really? All
Yeah,
three
I
of
had never
them?
seen Poltergeist. I was not a horror person at all growing up because I was too scared.
But this is a PG Amblin film we're talking about here. What? This isn't really a horror movie.
We're talking about Poltergeist, right?
Terrifying.
Except for the fact where the guy pulls his face off into the sink and
yeah,
the terrifying
is that when
shit.
we decided to add maybe the PG-13 rating in there at some point?
That has to have been it.
All the stuff that inspired Evil Dead 2. I mean, it was crazy.
I was way too scared to watch. There's several like horror movies that I'm just now getting around to being like, okay, I think I can brace myself, hug a teddy bear real tight, and watch this movie.
Well, as an adult, for the first time seeing Poltergeist, what are your immediate reactions?
It was a fun time.
Great.
It brought the family together. You could have put like the do 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 on like the car as they're driving away at the end, and I would have been like, wow,
They did it.
TV brought them together.
Yeah, or the lack of it brought them together, right? It's like that. Yeah, the sort of moral of the story and Poltergeist and Stay Tuned was just put the TV outside.
Leave your
Just put
TV out on
honestly,
the balcony.
and Videodrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, so you texted this morning, you were like, I finished all the movies just in the nick of time. And I was like, I for some reason, because the last one I watched was Videodrome. And I was like, did he just watch Videodrome in the morning? I don't think I could have done that in the morning, but I don't know why I was assuming it was Videodrome.
Yeah. No, it was actually, Stay Tuned. I watched Videodrome at night, and that was probably the best place to do it.
I had to watch Videodrome in 3 sessions.
Really?
What? Not because it was like hard. It was hard to like. I always like to eat while I'm watching TV, and anything that's goopy, I have to be like, okay, I have to switch over.
Poltergeist would probably equate to that goopiness as well as
Kinda.
Videodrome. I mean, the guy literally is eating a steak or has a raw steak climbing on the around the kitchen counter.
Right.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Videodrome was definitely one where I had to either put the snacks down or switch over to something else.
I agree. It definitely pushed the Cronenberg body horror thing forward, and I think that this is one of the first that really. I know it had a big budget behind it. It flopped right away, but it became a big cult classic over time. But this is really where you get that sci-fi and goopiness that Cronenberg is known for.
Yeah, I saw a tweet just last night that was like, what is your favorite movie about TV? And I was like, oh, this is so funny. This is like what I'm working on right now. And I looked at the comments, and all 3 of our films were mentioned. And,
no
and
kidding.
In fact,
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I wasn't
Look at that.
expecting to see Videodrome, but I saw quite like 2 or 3 comments that were Videodrome, and then I even saw someone being like, "There is a astonishing lack of mentions of Videodrome here," and I was like, "Wow, a week ago I wouldn't have understood any of this."
You're welcome.
Thank you for exposing me to the things that I need
the new flesh.
for the new flesh.
Yeah.
Long live the new flesh.
Long live the new flesh.
I guess the connection between all three of these is obviously TV plays a major role in all three of them. Poltergeist being, I guess, the conduit out into the other side, but not the conduit back in. Although it's a little confusing because it's really the closet that is the conduit in Poltergeist for the other side. But the TV becomes, I guess, that communication device to tempt young Carol Ann.
The CB radio or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those transmissions. The white noise, if you will.
Yeah, so I hadn't seen Poltergeist, for years.
I would love to hear your thoughts after not seeing it for a while.
It's crazy. I forgot how much I forgot about the movie. I mean, I, of course, remembered certain things like they're here and
they them pronouns.
The
yeah,
exactly. And,
I thought I was like, wow, this movie was so woke.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I remember the giant tree arm coming through the window, whatever. And I just remember certain moments, but man, I forgot so much about this movie.
Yeah.
And I forgot how much it kind of started off, like The Burbs or E.T.
Yeah.
It's
very an Amblin movie, right?
Yeah. Well, geez.
I know.
Can anybody prove that Tobe Hooper actually directed this movie?
I have read a couple of things, and they all say that there's always questions whether or not, Steven Spielberg exerted a bunch of creative, assertion over this movie or how it was made. But neither of them will say it.
He wrote it and produced it, but it's
is his story.
Geez, it seems like he was setting up those shots, having people stare at things. The camera kind of pushes in on them.
Steven Spielberg shots.
Spielberg. It's if I didn't see the credits going into this, I'd be like, oh yeah, Spielberg made this, right?
I felt like the shot down the stairs felt like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
That and the guy pulling his face off.
Yeah,
that too, exactly. It felt like the melting of the face, right? It was the same kind of Spielbergian thing.
Yeah.
The credits were also everything was. I just remember being like, oh, so this is a Steven Spielberg movie. And I was watching it with my boyfriend. He's like, no, it's not. He didn't direct it.
Directed by Tobe Hooper, the guy that did Leatherface. What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. How funny was it? So in the very beginning, before the big horror starts, we're kind of just setting up the world of suburbia here, and there's that guy, I don't know, he's in his 40s. He's on a kid's bike, holding a pallet of beer, and he's just trying to make it, and the kids in the neighborhood fuck with him, and he spills most of the beer, and he kind of gathers what little he can, and one of the cans
squirting
is just
everywhere,
sprayed
in the house
like a hose, and he's running through the house.
No one says anything though.
That's what happens when you're a one-car family,
right?
Honey, I'm gonna go out for beers for the boys. It's like, no, I need the car for shopping. Okay, well,
I read into that dude had a DUI, and that's how he was dealing with his issues. Yeah,
that's better. I like that better.
But it's I guess that when you have a one TV family, which is totally different now than it is now. But
this family was not a one TV family. They had 45 TVs in that house. Yeah.
But one that's controlled, I guess, by the neighbor.
Right.
So you got to watch Mr. Rogers when you're trying to watch the big game on Sunday.
Yeah.
My kids want to watch Mr. Rogers. But how? Okay, can someone explain to me what was going on there? Still in the setup portion of the movie. We see, the parents put the kids to bed, and then parents go off to have some me time, and they're both smoking their own doobs, and then one of them's reading Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
some book about him.
Because he was changed.
Don't you realize that guy would want to execute you for what you're doing right now?
Didn't he become conservative, and that's why Jo Beth Williams says, think back to your past when you were a little bit more open-minded.
Right, open-minded, right.
And then, and
I feel like that's how a lot of moderate conservatives are. They would probably be very anti-drug in public, but have their own little.
Yeah, exactly.
But at home,
just getting ripped. Yeah,
listen,
ripped in bed.
It's fine to persecute someone else for that, but not me.
Right.
Yeah. It's only fine when I'm
just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah. I'm a responsible weed smoker.
I'm responsible, exactly.
Right, yeah.
Weed parent.
But I think that part of the movie is still held up for me. I have to say that it didn't overwhelm me like it used to. I used to think that this was one of the greatest. But now watching it, I don't think a lot of it holds up. I don't think the tree scene holds up very well these days. I think that there's a lot of fakeness to it. But I really love the beginning of the movie when they were just hinting at poltergeist activity, with Carol Ann sliding across the floor, with the little whispers that you hear, and with the sound design, and then the chairs being stacked on the table, out of nowhere. Those are like cool in-camera effects, or at least like, off-camera effects, but they happen in the same frame and the same camera move. I think that stuff works so well. It's like when you see the ghosts now, they might not hold up as well as they once did, especially I don't understand what the main entity is that is attacking them. They say it's the beast itself, and then they see this big giant dog monster that attacks them at the end. And I'm just wondering, is that like the representation of it? And is this supposed to be the devil? Like, when they say the beast, that's what I think of. I don't know what you guys
I just thought it was tied to the people who were buried, like coming back to get their
But there was
revenge.
one of those people in particular that took the particular liking to Carol Ann, and that's what she kept Zelda Rubinstein.
And the beast wanted Carol Ann's life force, which is interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
He was attracted to her life force. Which
Talk
is
about
Tobe
a little
Hooper's next movie.
advertisement for his next big picture, Tobe Hooper's Life Force.
Oh my gosh.
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force.
No, but it is funny because it's like, you're just like, okay, the house is haunted and there's just, scary stuff. And they were kind of explaining some rules, but it was all kind of gobbledygook anyway. And you're just like, yeah, it's just monsters. You can just kind of roll with it. I think for me, the part that like kind of takes the movie off course a little bit is like, okay, so they got to the house is clean moment. They got the daughter back. They don't have any reason to stay in the house. And yet they go and
comfortably take a bath.
Let's just go. Everyone,
I know,
go back to your own rooms.
It's
have
out of
the
there.
scary clown sitting across from you.
Yeah,
It's
did
like,
we not move that thing the last time? Don't give it another opportunity.
Why would you ever walk back into that place?
Never.
Because Tangina said it was clean.
This house is clean. Tangina is amazing.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it would make sense that she would fix all the problems. They just had to find some weird person.
Zelda Rubinstein, the classic,
Rubinstein,
that played the same role every time, I think.
But I did have the same thought where I was like, no, there's no way that fixed it. I don't even know what she did because clearly it was nothing. Thanks a lot.
She was like, I'm going to go in there. No, never mind. You go in there.
That's never brought up even in part 2 because they welcome Zelda or Tangina back into their home and she's like friend of the family now, part of the family because she cleaned the house. You didn't do shit. In fact, because you didn't do anything, the house is actually in a vortex in the middle of it, like a black hole in the middle of the town that everyone saw. And it's like, is this not a big deal?
I am going to leave such a terrible Yelp review for Tangina.
She'll never get another exorcism
You'll never
again.
clean again.
The leading bio-exorcist.
Yeah.
I think we should bring up the fact that this is one of those cursed films. There's a lot of unfortunate incidents around this. Heather O'Rourke, Carol Ann, she died very young, tragically. But Dominique Dunne, who was her sister in the movie, I believe she was beaten to death by her boyfriend, like around the time that this movie was being released, and like making the rounds. So this is one of those like The Exorcist that had a bunch of shitty occurrences around it.
Stuff happening off screen. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that character, how wild was it that like whatever she was, I don't know what, 12 years old or something, and like she was getting sexually harassed by Billy from Predator.
What the hell?
Oh yeah,
it was like in the backyard.
And her mom sees this and she's like,
She's
oh
like, oh,
boys,
well.
knock it off and have some coffee.
And the dude from Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
Right.
He's like, what are you doing, guys? But yeah, Billy, it kind of was upsetting, seeing Billy as such a stoic character in Predator and then seeing him just pulling the construction. I was like, this is not Billy.
Yeah.
That's not Billy.
No.
Oh, man.
Just one of those moments you see in 80s movies where you're like, oh yeah, today that would have been immediately like, now I know that you're the villain.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not.
And not the lovable scamp, outside. But, okay, so you brought up the T-bone thing earlier. How funny is it the guy's like, I'm going to go get a snack. And he goes and raids their fridge, which first of all, there's just a raw steak just sitting in the middle of the fridge. And then secondly, he slaps it on the counter.
He's had to have been high, right? Like, I think that they were they showed people smoking weed earlier in the movie. I think there might have been a scene skipped where he, stepped outside, got stoned, and was like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat everything in this house. And then, obviously, the poltergeist there, or the entity, took him over and showed him his fears, or whatever the hell it did, but got him the hell out of the house. He was haunted.
My biggest fear is that I'm eating a chicken wing and it suddenly grows maggots.
It's like a claw.
And I got like a little cut on my cheek. That's weird. Let me start pulling at it.
Oh my God. It's great, the progression of that makeup too, because it's a little tiny cut in one cut. It cuts right back to it, and it's like this giant thing on his face that he's just ripping open.
But you're like, I've got a hole there. Let me just rip it open a little more.
And I think it's because of the heat, right? The lamp gets really bright, so it's almost like radiation, like burning his face.
Well, yeah, see, I can relate to that because it's like when you get a zit and you're like, okay, I shouldn't pick at this. I really shouldn't.
I think that's what they're playing on the fear of. I think that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Get a nice white head going, and all of a sudden the mirror is covered in blood. Yeah. They call those poltergeist pimples.
Yeah. I think David Cronenberg guest directed that moment.
I was going to say that's probably the major tie-in to Videodrome for sure.
Yeah. Well, that and so when they were throwing the tennis balls through the little portal to hell or whatever, and they threw the rope through, all the afterbirth slime that was all over them.
Straight out of Ghostbusters too.
Yeah, it really
mood
did.
Slime.
But isn't that the stuff that was sort of oozing out of the main bad guy in Videodrome after he gets shot?
Everything in this looked like I'm just gonna say it looked like vagina gunk.
Yeah,
that's what I think they were going for.
Yeah.
I
think you're right.
Both in Videodrome and in Poltergeist, it looked like how a baby looks when they are freshly birthed.
Right.
And covered in vagina gunk.
And technically, that's what they were doing, right? Was going into the afterlife and then being rebirthed back into their living world in a way. So it's like they did kind of go through that process, but maybe on a much grander cosmic scale.
So that's why they went in the bath,
Yeah. breathe.
Get this off of me.
Breathe. Yeah, I do like this movie. I think Craig T. Nelson is my favorite in this, though. I think he's super funny, and I think the family stuff that they show in this really makes me feel like it's a Steven Spielberg movie, but it also kind of gives it that grounded feel that makes the terror so much more effective.
No, that's true. That first, whatever it is, 20 minutes of them just kind of table setting and little scares here and there, but mostly it's suburban antics or whatever. The
neighbor.
It gets you kind of invested in what's happening.
But then all of a sudden it's Craig T. Nelson. Why'd you get rid of the bodies?
You son of a bitch, you left the bodies and you only moved the headstones! You only moved the headstones! Why?
You didn't get rid of the bodies.
You just moved the headstones. Yeah.
Why?
I will say, they don't introduce that villain guy until halfway through the movie. So
from Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, yes. when they walked over to the graveyard, I was like, who is this guy? And then he ends up being the guy that got them in this situation, right?
Yeah.
If that's
Oopsies.
I understand.
What do you think? What are you going to do? Are we just going to move it all? We already did it in phase A or phase 1.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean my house? You fuck.
It's a living.
Seriously, I love the really deeply corporate housing zone there. Phase 1, phase 5,
and it was all the same. And they even mention that when they're doing the tours, they're like, "This looks just like the kitchen I have." Well, yeah, but our construction standards are way higher.
Yeah, exactly.
I even thought that was a flashback scene. I was like, is this when they moved into the house? So we're going to find out when they moved in, they stepped on a crack. That was I eventually figured it out.
But that's interesting because it was the same exact layout, right? They were in the same set. It was just not dressed the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's one of those things where, to go back to what you were saying, where it's fun to see the early ghost stuff when they're just let's ease them in with the spooky. It is kind of funny to be like, after everything has happened, you're like, why were the ghosts just being like, oh yeah, they want to push her across the floor, let's do this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it the ghosts that were doing that, or was it like an energy thing? Like, I like the ambiguity of it, but it didn't really fit within the rest of the visuals of the ghosts, especially the monstrous ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something that I feel like happens in a lot of horror movies where they're like, they can't come straight out the gate with like, and now this child is dead, whatever.
They got to play catch first.
They got to first be like, hey, we're here.
La, 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 la.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you need to escalate the horror. But I guess they did explain that with some of those long chit-chatty scenes where there's a lot of happy ghosts in there and one evil one.
Good and evil, right? Just like people.
Your face when you said the word evil. I know the listeners can't say it, so I feel like it was one evil one. The eyebrows. Evil.
Well, speaking of evil TVs, should we move on to Civic Television and Videodrome?
Let's have Professor Brian Oblivion take us through this one.
This is actually a recording. I've died weeks ago before any of this happened.
We're not seeing you in person, so who knows?
Exactly, yeah. I just really know how to record things and be proactive. I know all the questions that are going to be asked.
Yeah. So do you have a fleshy videotape that you plugged into your computer somehow?
Yeah. All my USB cords breathe. Lauren, yeah, exactly. You're giving a great reaction here that our listeners can't see.
I know, yeah. I am twitching and cringing. It gives me the ick, is what the kids call it now.
Let's hear about the ick that Videodrome gave you.
Well, okay, so
where do I begin?
First of all, it's another one of those scenes when we see Max go on that TV show and he stops the interview to hit on Debbie Harry. That was another one of those things where I was like, oh, if this movie were made today, I'd be like, this is the villain, right?
Right.
Well, you wouldn't be wrong because
I agree.
What would you call this guy?
Right. Anti-hero?
He becomes Blake Snyder's half man in a bit of a way, because he goes through it and is turned into a killing machine for like a minute.
Very Manchurian Candidate or those other kinds of that's control, like government control over things, but this one put it into the hallucinogenic state. Beyond anything that anyone's experienced, I would say. The gun being organically grafted to his hand, and none of that stuff was happening, but it looks so great.
You know what? When I have a rash, I usually grab a pistol and scratch it with a pistol. I don't know about you guys.
I love it. He was just sitting, man-spreading on his couch, and he's just...
Can you man spread when you're alone?
Yes, you can man spread. Women can man spread. It's the 20s.
So is that supposed to be a surgery scar that finally opened up in his brain?
I guess I kept waiting for them to be like, I don't know, say something that happened that caused him to have some scar there. But then it split open, and I was just like, oh, they had to do several takes. That's
yeah. It was a deleted scene where Deborah Harry was messing with his stomach or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they are kinky. It was probably wax play or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There you go.
Wax burn.
We missed that one.
Unfortunately, but I bet it's on the DVD extras.
Yeah. So are you going to watch all the deleted scenes?
You usually have all the Blu-rays. Was there extra scenes on this one, or did you see that in a Blu-ray?
I did watch it on the Blu-ray, but I just watched the movie. I didn't dig through the special features just
yet. This was on Peacock, by the way.
Yeah, that's where I've watched it too.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, because I started to watch it from the Dropbox, but it's a whole thing with connecting my computer to the TV, and I kept having to rewind, and there were no subtitles, and then I was like, I gotta find this streaming somewhere. And yeah, I can't watch anything without subtitles anymore.
Okay, so watching without subtitles, real quick. Back to Poltergeist for a second.
Yeah.
What was the name of the dog?
E-Buzz.
E-Bomb? Or I don't know.
E-Bomb's World?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, what the hell's his name?
I did not look at that. I did not notice the dog's name.
E-Gus? It was very weird.
Yeah, it's an odd name. Like, he kept saying it too. Like, E-Bomb? E-Bomb?
Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we'll put a clip in there. See if anybody else can tell us what it is.
Yeah. That's funny.
They're a weird family. They buy their kids that frickin' clown.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Awful clown to buy.
Yeah.
So Lauren, why are you wearing red on this show?
I would love to have seen the movie carry on with the interviewer at that point, the TV show host, and just be like, I don't know.
It's funny how she tries to keep it together, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she was unfazed. I mean, she was professional.
Because even she tries to talk to Brian Oblivion, who gives just a generic answer because he's a videotape, and she's like, all right, how do I get back to this?
Yeah.
So Deborah Harry's character, though, is a radio show host, psychotherapist that also is a sadomasochist.
Who had like a sweat into the oldies outfit while she was.
It was like she just
working.
got out of like a workout program and started doing. It must have been a really heavy radio program because
Jane Fonda.
Yeah,
I think she is just a regular gal who she dresses up for TV interviews, but when you're on the radio, you can be relaxed.
That's true.
You can wear your athleisure, your leotards.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's very true.
No one's gonna see it.
Yeah,
but she has quite a character in this, and her being so obsessed after seeing this Videodrome, it was a different role, I guess, but not for Debbie Harry because she's no stranger to horror, I'd say, because we saw her in Tales from the Dark Side being the main rapper. But I think that this is one of her more interesting roles for sure. I'm not even sure where she ended up in this. She just kind of disappeared.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So I this is the first time I've seen Videodrome. I'd kind of like. I'd seen all the clips of whatever James Woods, dive into the TV or whatever head first, things like that.
He's like motorboating the TV.
Exactly, and like the veiny television screen and all these things.
I had to put my snacks down.
Rick Baker,
to make sure your gag reflex is working.
Yeah.
But I'd say in the latter maybe 20 minutes of the movie, I started getting sort of lost as to exactly what was going on and who was what and where and when.
Potentially intentional, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. For what's the guy's name?
Cronenberg.
Harlan. As soon as he was like, I haven't been hallucinating, I was like, he's in on it.
Yeah.
Calling it.
Just feeding Max a few radio or TV signals.
Yeah, as you do.
As one does, yeah. I mean, it's crazy because it's like the movie definitely has this hallucinatory effect on the audience, right? Everything just starts kind of blending together. Like the older woman who was trying to sell him the Roman snuff porn early on, when he's like whipping the TV, like she's on it, and the room, the Videodrome room, the sex chamber there, it's like there's that wall of clay, but he's like, it's electrified.
Yeah.
It's like this weird like earworm that you keep like thinking about the entire time. Like, why is a clay wall electrified? It's like this.
Right.
What's that wall behind her? What is that, clay?
Yeah. Wet clay. I think it's electrified.
It has that really awesome staying power. Even though, most of the movie is horribly disgusting and it's hard to watch, there's something that really sticks with you about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though like the plot and whatever, I'm just like, I don't know.
Was
Deborah Harry a part of the monster the entire time? Was she real?
And did she really die?
Even real? Yeah.
I think she was real, but what ends up happening to her, that is one of the hard things about when someone is hallucinating and they go in and out of hallucinations like seamlessly. It is like you don't know what. So by the time he storms into the office and shoots those guys, I'm still kind of like, okay, but is this going to be a hallucination?
That did happen. Though, right?
That did happen. I think.
Just like him slapping his secretary around, it's like, well, did it happen?
But it took his secretary saying like, you didn't hit me. Right. I think they.
Well, because we were told that didn't happen. So I mean, but what we're shown is on the same plane where it's like, it might have happened, might not have happened.
Because then also at one point when Harlan and the TV host guy, I forget his name,
or the other exec,
the other exec are standing in that room with him. They insert the tape into his tummy vagina. That's what I'm gonna call it because it's cute. They put it in,
cute,
and you're like, it makes it cute, Jeremy.
Okay.
But
yes,
it's one of those things where when someone else is involved with the hallucination and they're inserting something, I'm like, okay, so what would have been happening in real life at that moment? Were they just handing him the tape, and
or I think they were just putting it in the cassette. But at that time, James Woods and the TV or the cassette player were one, because he was giving up his old flesh, right? So in his mind, it looked like the TV or the tape was going inside of him, but they were just putting a tape in. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I was confused on that as well.
Right. Was he still wearing the headset? The giant skull box or whatever.
I love the VR headset. We're just gonna record your memories. Oh, is that a thing in this world?
Oh, fantastic! Let me just put this thing on that I've never seen before in my life, and I know exactly how to use it.
There's no way this is gonna cause some sort of brain tumor.
Yeah,
I have no follow-up questions.
Yeah, put it on immediately. Did you guys get kind of a Twin Peaks, kind of a satirical world out of this movie? It felt a little David Lynchy at the beginning, especially with people like Brian Oblivion, like the names and like these weird, quirky characters.
Oh, 100%. I actually haven't seen Twin Peaks, but I've seen some other David Lynch movies, and that was what I was thinking until all the Goop stuff came out. And I was like, yep.
That's when Cronenberg says, "I'm Cronenberg." And yeah, exactly. You might remember me that I had, sex monsters at one point in a movie and created an entire orgy inside of an apartment. That's where Cronenberg comes from. We'll have you back on for another Cronenberg film. I don't know what movie that is,
but I'll watch it.
We'll have you back on for some more Cronenberg.
This podcast is just all about exposing little Lauren, innocent, loves watching. Like, I watched these movies and I was like, Stay Tuned was fun. And then I watched the others and I'm like, I gotta put my snacks down.
Anything else anybody wants to say about Videodrome?
I mean, just like, I don't know, could anybody be more perfectly cast than James Woods in this?
I know.
About as slimy as you get, man.
I've always wanted to do this for, I don't know, like a TikTok or something, but like take footage of Hades in Hercules and dub it over with James Woods lines in this, just have him saying
That's a great idea.
Some weird stuff.
Fortunately for the three of you, we still have time to correct this rather egregious oversight. And this time, no foul-ups.
Maybe it'll work.
Yeah. Listen, this is the viral maker speaking.
I was going to say, this is from the meme viral generator
this
here.
This is the meme generator right here. Yeah. This is going to go viral. This is going to give me the serotonin I need. But I will say this: coming. if they were to remake Videodrome,
yes, I love this conversation.
And just figure, like, you just throw it on TikTok. There would be Videodromes on. I mean, it would violate all their community guidelines, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anything in terms of service of any sort of rogue signals being sent through UHF and creating tumors and all that.
It's the same thing I thought with like the Ring. I'm like, if Samara lived or like was aware of modern times, she could just put her movie on TikTok and she would be working overtime coming out of that TV, making phone calls.
I mean, that would be another one I think that would work for this block too. There is a killer TV, or at least the TV is the conduit for murder.
Yeah. I am when I first was telling people
the VHS tape is
because I like to promote. When I first was telling people like, oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast. The theme is like TV murder coming from TV, or like TV affecting your life. And people were like, oh, so is The Ring? And I'm like, no, The Ring's not in there.
Yeah, we blew it on this one. Yeah.
I figured it was too modern, but I will still remember. I watched The Ring on a Sunday night at around 5 p.m. And every once in a while, on a Sunday night, 5 p.m., when my phone rings, I don't answer. Yeah,
but it clearly
just keep
says
it up.
Your
You got to
mom's
keep that going now, so you never.
I gotta keep it going.
Put on the week long, whatever that is, the week long death.
That was such a big deal when I was 12. I went as Samara for Halloween, and it was easily the scariest because that's probably.
Now wait a second. Now this doesn't line up. You said you didn't get into horror movies younger, but now okay.
The Ring was the only one because so many of my friends were talking about it, and they're like, "I'm gonna die tomorrow," and I was like, "I gotta check out this movie." Like, it's like
that makes me want to watch it.
What a braggart!
It's like when you're stuck in traffic because there's an accident, and you kind of like can't wait to see how bad the accident is. You're like, this better be terrible. I don't know.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Everyone slows down to just see that they
Something
can't
tells
see
me Cronenberg films are for you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe Crash would be the one for you, actually.
Oh, yeah, I have heard about Crash. I haven't seen it, though.
The Academy Award-winning Crash?
I've seen the Academy Award winning Crash. I did not see it's about people who are sexually turned on by a car crash. Yeah. I am not that.
All accidents, I think. Any violence.
It's kind of the James Woods, Deborah Harry scene, but, taking it to the next level, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing I love best about The Ring is, going back to that for a second, is just that, like, they always talk about, like, oh, you have a week to live after you see the tape. But you don't have a week. You have 5 days. You have a business week.
Oh, it's a business week?
Yeah, it's a business week. Right, exactly. We don't count weekends in the netherworld. Yeah.
Is it only a business? I can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. I haven't watched The Ring in a while.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like that one. I think the original is a little creepier, but...
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Ringu. I've never seen it, though.
Ringu, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to read movies, okay?
That reminds me of a line on Brooklyn Nine-Nine when someone was like, do you know who John Adams is? He's like, no, because it was on a miniseries that looked like a book.
That's an accurate description of that.
Yeah, it did watch like a book. I liked it, though. But yeah, I agree. There are no killer TVs in that one.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Stay tuned. 1992. Let's move on to John Ritter and Mindy. Headlining a movie about old sitcoms and TV.
Yeah.
I thought this was buckets of fun.
Awesome. I love to hear that.
I think the connection between this and Videodrome was that they were both filmed in Canada, right?
That's it. That's why we put them together.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. Right on.
That's exactly.
Where was Poltergeist filmed?
Canada.
Oh.
Simi Valley?
Yeah.
Canada's where it's at.
Yeah, exactly.
And they use real bodies, right? In Poltergeist?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they got cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Canada. What a crazy town.
The production forgot to remove the bodies.
Why?
But yeah, I thought this was super fun.
Excellent. So this is, again, you said this was all 3 movies, first time seeing it, so stay tuned, first time. This was one of my favorites growing up. Are you a TV or sitcom fan from back in the day? Did you get a lot of the references too?
Yeah. In fact, like as soon as they were, there was like a moment where they were in that hut, and there was like the wolf was outside, and it was two women.
Northern overexposure.
Overexposure.
It was 2 women and a man in a little hut, and the man was John Ritter, and I was like, oh. Come and knock on our door. And then little did I know later on they were gonna do that.
I love
was like,
self-aware comedy.
They've gotta do that.
They had to do that. I was expecting to see a Mork and Mindy reference with Pam Dauber, but we didn't get that. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe
that's for the sequel.
Because she was the supporting character.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Oh.
Is there really a sequel?
There should be.
It happens on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I got most of the sitcom references. But again, just like the other movies, watching the beginning when he's like, he cannot be bothered to give his wife 5 minutes of attention.
5 seconds.
If this was made today, I would be like, you're the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you can pause the TV. Back then you couldn't. You had to watch live. I mean.
Yeah, when you're watching your 44-inch 900-line resolution television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High def.
Directly from the devil.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Jones as a cable salesman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Spike. You're canceled.
I was like, as soon as the first scene with the 2 of them where she's just trying to get her husband to like look at her, I was like, oh, she would leave him. But back in the 80s, like women couldn't have credit cards without their husbands. So like that's what's holding her here.
Yeah, but she had the high-powered job, and he had the loser schlub job where...
Yep, doesn't matter.
He sold vacuum cleaners.
I forget when women were allowed to get their own bank accounts, but I think it was
I don't know, was
80s.
that like last year?
Yeah. I mean, like in Handmaid's Tale, that's like the first thing that gets taken away. That's like the sign of the times changing. It's like when, hold on, I'm Google this. Allowed to get... 1974. Okay, so she could get her own credit card by this
It
point.
really wasn't until 1974?
Yeah, that was the main thing holding
Well, I don't know.
marriages
When were
together.
credit cards invented?
1973.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
History of History of Women and Money in the United States. I don't have time to read this.
Okay.
But
read that book and get back to us. Yeah.
Yes. John Adams and the History of Women getting bank accounts.
All right.
Huh.
The TV!
Oh, man. Did you guys notice that the Hell's intern or whatever was Dokes from
Dexter?
From Dexter. Surprise, motherfucker!
I did not.
He looks so young, right? He had like kind of the Kid and Play hair going.
Yes.
Right?
I was like, God, who is that guy? It was like driving me crazy. And I finally figured it out later on.
Surprise, motherfucker!
It's nice because this was on Amazon and they've got that feature where when you pause it. I was like, I knew it was somebody I knew. But yeah, it was kind of wild to see him. But I like Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy played a great character as,
he was great.
One of the execs that just busted Spike's balls too much and he got thrown into the TV world where he needed to fend for himself and be dismembered by wolves.
I wonder if the scene in Monsters Incorporated when they get banished to like a snowy snowscape was like inspired by that.
Interesting.
That's what they did with Eugene.
Well,
and he really
there are all those like doorways too. It's like, you're right. It's very Monsters Inc. Yeah, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I like that idea that there were like static portals that were in between each of these worlds. It kind of gave a sense of, I guess you didn't have to get bored of like one of these, settings for too long because you were out of it within minutes. You went from northern overexposure and all of a sudden you were in, well, I guess like a Tale of Two Cities or, like the French Revolution where the Marquis de Nabel needed to save his life. And it was just really interesting to see how much movie and like production design they packed into this one for all these different sets. And then Salt and Peppa makes an appearance.
I know.
And they're in the middle of a music video. That was awesome.
Yeah. In a scene that also probably wouldn't hold up too well today. Where he's like got his hair all wrapped.
Oh, right. Is he supposed to be like Queen Latifah?
I guess. I don't know. He's supposed to be someone that shouldn't be in that music video.
I thought he was going for kind of a Prince thing because he had that
Prince.
Beard stubble.
It must have been, yeah. Yeah, right, because he still had the stubble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Jeffrey Jones had a bit of a Vanilla Ice thing happening. I think he had like the line cut in his hair and all that.
He was the DJ like throwing LPs or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, it would be interesting to have your TikTok audience watch Stay Tuned and see if they get literally any of the references. I mean, I feel like you had to have been watching TV in 1992 to understand what the hell's going on here.
You'd need to know what Wayne's World is.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs. Dwayne's Underworld.
Dwayne's Underworld. I loved that. I loved all of this.
Dwayne's Underworld. It's party time! It's excellent! Okay, now, Mr. Nabel, before we get started, would you mind telling me what you see on this card?
I worship satin.
Excrement.
Dwayne and Garf. I was dying.
That was awesome.
The extreme close-up where he gets banged in the forehead at the camera.
And then instead of excellent, they say excrement. Excrement.
I wish so much that I wrote just that scene.
I know. That part is definitely strong, real strong.
That's like a standalone sketch.
Oh, man. Yeah. All the zombies in the audience and everything, too.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like the nether realm. It's like Beetlejuice, kind of.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I liked all of the commercials, too, that they showed. One of them was Silencer of the Lambs, and it was a muzzle for dogs and kids.
And
they just put them in the back seat.
Yeah. What made me sad, though, like when I was thinking back to that, is like those... everyone you see was someone that was sucked into the TV and only has 24 hours to figure their shit out.
Interesting.
So when I saw those kids wearing those muzzles, I just was like, oh my God.
When Miss Daisy got run over?
Yeah.
Like she's just got to keep living that over
Run
and
over
over
three
again?
times or whatever.
Yeah.
Driving over Miss Daisy.
I love when she first gets bashed with the car. Like it was her hat that like slammed on the windshield. Oh man.
Yep.
Also, like, they had so many good little puns for the new shows they had, with, like, the northern overexposure. Like, the doctor just goes up there and complains a lot or whatever.
Three Men and Rosemary's Baby.
Three Men and Rosemary's Baby.
I would see that movie. I
would, too.
My arm's going numb. My face is going numb. Different strokes.
Yogi Beer.
Oh, man, the Yogi Beer, like, you can be just like your dad.
Give me another one, babe.
Yeah.
Oh,
that kid was the villain.
My three sons of bitches. Man,
so good. What a fun time.
I feel like they had a bunch of like it was the sort of late night show writers room, and they were just like throwing out different pun
Exactly.
names, and I think the rejects like ended up being in the in the post credit scene or whatever. It was like the Married Without Children or whatever. Like
yeah.
There's a couple of them that were like,
man.
I love that post.
We'll put that over the credits.
Scene.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so glad they have this. I don't know. I was having I watched this also with my boyfriend, and he thought it was trash, and I was like, no, this is so fun.
I mean, it's not great.
I wish I had seen it. It was like, oh yeah, no, I mean, like there's like I said, there are moments where you're just like, what a piece of shit, John Ritter. But it was so fun. Any time where you're watching a live action movie and then suddenly it's animated, like it's very.
Well, let's talk
Roger
about that, because
Rabbit.
that was a pretty impressive animated segment. Like that was,
Right.
I think that was even supervised by Chuck Jones. Like that was they took that one very seriously, and it really felt like.
He's
an
like,
old
what do I
Looney
do?
Tunes
I'm in a
comic.
cartoon. I've seen cartoons. What do I do? And he
Yeah.
writes a letter to Acme real quick.
We're going out, kids.
I love the whole the Chuck Jones cartoon thing where it's like someone kind of smiles and like their body runs away and their neck starts stretching out and their head just stays there for a second and then like there's a little puff of dust before they fly away. God, the fact they were doing all those little cartoon bits are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was like created months before the movie even went into production.
Oh,
like
wow.
They had that one done right away because I think they had to get started on that. Obviously, that would have taken the longest time, but it's such a good scene.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, they really touch on everything in this. They touch on the old sitcoms. They touch on old movies.
Yeah.
They also touch on animated. I think that they did a good job of that, and even the horror and all that. Like I thought was pretty strong in this, and I liked all the characters.
Yeah.
Like, this was a pretty fun movie. It's not great. I get it. It's not like
Disagree.
we're going to be learning something from this. But I think
this had like 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, well, Rotten Tomatoes is incorrect.
Yeah,
because everyone on Rotten Tomatoes is the watcher and not the doer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's exactly
this was a
the
love
reason
letter
here.
to television, and if you love
Everyone on Rotten Tomatoes was born in 2002, so they don't know any of these fucking references.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, they're like,
it's not as
this
funny
is
though,
all
or-
old TV.
No.
Oh, okay, well, Leave It to Beaver or whatever that one was called.
I forget.
But no one's going to get that one, right? I mean, if they're not going to get Three's Company.
I mean, listen, this movie had a wrestler's opening move be a titty twister. Come on, how could that be 47%?
It's so
Didn't catch
good.
that.
I wish so much I had seen this as a kid. I think it would have been really fun. It was if you love television.
Yeah.
Because I've seen maybe one episode of Three's Company. I've never seen Leave It to Beaver, but I like you.
Yeah.
I
know what
heard
it is.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. It just was fun. Who doesn't love like if it weren't for the fact that like they had to provide stakes and make it hell and have them only have 24 hours and whatnot, it would have just been like, oh, this is just a fun movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but how great was like Eugene Levy? Like
Yeah.
he's like lost his arm and his leg,
He's
or whatever,
awesome.
and then he just kept that going.
Eugene Levy was perfectly cast in this. Like as someone who's
In
like
everything.
real, yeah. Oh, in everything, yeah. He's the best actor of our time.
I agree.
But
He's hilarious.
yeah,
That's
to be
great.
so like has such authority at the beginning until he gets banished, and then he's just
his laugh.
Levyism.
He had that real like evil laugh
the shoulder shrugging laugh. Yeah.
after every one of his own jokes.
Yeah.
Well, like, speaking of animation, it's like he was kind of almost an animated character in this.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's just this like you're right. His weird like shoulder shrugging laughter and like his affect or whatever. He almost seemed like he was straight out of Chuck Jones.
And by the end of it, he only had one arm and one leg, and he was on crutches trying to get through the rest of the movie.
What
Yeah.
a trooper.
So awesome.
And Lauren, you're right. Like the movie, just the fact that it had a full on like well done animated sequence right in the middle of it, that automatically bumps it up another 20-30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, come
That
on.
should be a 65%, right?
Yeah.
At least on Rotten Tomatoes.
Without that scene, it would have been a 10%, but
Oh, got it.
that
That's how it
scene
worked
made
out.
it a 40%.
I see, yeah.
It might be maybe it was 40-50%. I can't remember, but I looked up all
Sorry.
of these, and like Videodrome was 80%, and I was like, what?
Okay, so here we go. Let's do a little rating system if we can. Your favorites, Lauren, of these, if you could rank them.
Definitely
please.
stay tuned. I'm
Number one.
Yeah, I'm a silly lady.
And what's after that? What comes in close second?
After that was
Very
Poltergeist.
close.
Like I could see why Poltergeist was like a classic of its time, and yeah, I would watch Poltergeist too. I would watch a Stay Tuned.
Stay tuned.
I'm gonna have to direct you away from Poltergeist 2 only because it's not great.
What's its rating on? Let's see.
Probably an 80% on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
The
Perfect
Other-
film.
The Other Side. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, The Other Side. That's what that one's called.
I'm looking it up on a work computer, so the results refreshed and like filtered out stuff that they don't want me to click on.
Oh boy.
They're controwing what I
Wow.
read. I know. I don't know why it does
So
that.
you work for Brian Oblivion, huh?
Wow. Poltergeist 2 has. Do we want to make this interesting?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And bet. What are you?
Oh, we're gonna bet. I don't have any money. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do the trading places. I'll bet you $1.
$1.
Yeah, $1 is fine.
It's prices right. So I'm gonna do 32.
Oh, I'm gonna do 46.
Both busted. It's 20%.
Ooh, I guess
20%.
20%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not great. It does continue the story in a sequel way, though, and it does make sense for what they do. It's just the execution kind of falls flat, in my opinion. But I don't know. If you want to continue with the Poltergeist franchise, you should go at it. I haven't seen the remake, and I wanted to kind of bring that up and see
There's
if
a remake of.
Oh yeah, that's
What,
right.
Poltergeist?
Poltergeist, yeah. With
When did
Sam
they remake
Rockwell.
it?
In 2000s, 10
wow.
years ago, maybe. I
Jeez.
don't know exactly.
No idea.
But yeah, it's with Sam Rockwell. He
2015.
plays the
Where
Craig
was
T.
I?
Nelson role.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, that's
Okay.
I don't see a whole lot of remakes.
It's got the poster is just the Annabelle doll. No, never mind. It's the clown.
But it's
Why
the clown.
do families keep buying clown
Yeah,
dolls?
exactly. And in a modern retelling of this story, a family would definitely not buy that thing for their kid,
No.
just because it's
Also,
it looks
they
like
bought the
that.
most evil clown in the world.
Exactly.
I saw,
There's so many better ones.
It's
I'm
almost
sure.
it's almost a spoiler because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as soon
Was
as
this
I
one
saw,
on sale?
As soon as I saw that clown in Poltergeist, I was like, okay, well, that clown's gonna. And that's why I was
Clown's
actually
evil.
like,
I get it. Yeah.
the one thing I will say is like, what was her name again? Tangina. Came in and cleaned the place, and I was like, oh, they didn't use the clown. Oh,
Yeah.
a red herring.
I did like that they left that at the end and then did bring it back. I thought it was a good scare. I think the clown's a better scare than the tree.
Yeah,
to be
I agree.
honest. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
but
that they could have done a little bit
that
more
set
just
piece
with.
should have been earlier. Should have been building towards some of the stuff. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
the clown attacked you. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just seeing things. You're 8 years
Great
old, whatever.
idea, yeah.
And they don't believe him. And but the thing is, like, they're like, no, let's all full on go back into the house, have a casual bath, tuck the kids back into their evil bedroom,
Walk around
like,
with no pants on.
yeah. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you're way too comfortable. Maybe they were stoned the whole time.
I
I mean,
mean,
look,
yeah,
they did
maybe.
establish that.
The very beginning, it's like, okay, the daughter gets sucked into the house, so it's like, okay, that's why they have to stay. Like,
Right.
they
Oh,
can't-
yes,
they,
exactly.
They can't just
Yeah.
bail.
But once she's out,
Leave. Go back to the
Right.
hotel. That's why I love that scene. They go to the hotel and he pushes the TV out.
yeah.
Listen, I'm going to take like 4 hours right now. I know the sun's still out, but I'm going to take 4 hours to go tell my boss to go to hell. For some reason, I have to have a long.
Give the guy a call, man. Like,
yeah. What's it called? An exit interview? I have to do an exit interview.
also,
with him
all
real
the
quick.
shit that's going on, man. They can call that quiet quitting.
Yeah.
You can quiet quit after something like that, man.
Yeah.
I'm black and white. Hello? Testing? Testing?
Roy Nabel, private dick. Well, better than being a public dick.
Do you guys have any final thoughts for our trio of killer TV movies?
Yeah, I guess vagina goo and televisions don't mix.
They do not mix. That would cause major issues with your visual quality and fidelity. Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously the connections between these three is apparent, being TVs are a very important part of the stories.
Yeah.
But just to give you a
Suburbs
little
with Poltergeist and Stay Tuned, I guess.
Do we
there's a
think?
little-
There you go.
Do we
Yeah.
think after all this went
Some
down,
upside
John Ritter took a break from all of his chronic TV addiction?
I
the
hope
character?
so.
Yeah.
I mean, he became a
Well,
fencing
he
instructor.
sounded like he did, right? He
Oh
was
yeah,
talking
that's
to
right.
his
The
kids.
fencing.
Yeah,
I'm
and he
gonna
told
get
the
him
kid,
up on
he's
his
like,
feet.
TV's going to be bad for you, kid. You know.
Who on earth taught you that?
I saw it on TV somewhere. Some old movie.
Take my advice, kiddo. Don't watch too much TV. It can get you into trouble. Okay, fencers, class dismissed.
So speaking of that, like, okay, the movie ends with just a perfect, like, cheesy freeze frame.
Awful freeze frame. A long freeze frame.
Yeah, long freeze frame on a frame that you're like, okay, what? And like, but that seems to be. I wouldn't call it a trademark, but it's definitely happened in other Peter Hyams movies. It's like something he does. I mean, Peter Hyams is this interesting director who makes these maybe 90% their movies that like just has a little bit further to go. Like what was that? Oh my God, what was the one he did that was like they faked the Mars landing? Capricorn 1, that one's amazing. Outland, that was sort of
I've never seen Outland.
I haven't seen any of these.
Sort of original version of Total Recall. He did the sequel to 2001, 2010.
2010, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, weird.
Where it's like, the first 45 minutes to an hour is like, well, that's actually pretty interesting, even though I probably wouldn't make a sequel to this. Running Scared, Time Cop, he did a bunch of these movies.
I like Time Cop. I that's a special one for me.
But he was a fan of the weird freeze frame ending.
Did he do that in Time Cop?
Definitely in Capricorn 1.
I think we got to bring the freeze frame back.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's simple. It's easy. It gets the message across. The movie is over.
Hey, guess what? The movie's done.
Movie's done. That's all we filmed. We cut right after that freeze frame.
Your internet connection didn't crap out. It was the intention to stop the movie right here.
This is not buffering.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Amazing. Movie magic.
Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Is there somewhere that people can follow you, our listeners?
Well, I have a show second Sunday of every month at the Pack Theater in Hollywood.
Ooh. And what is the show?
It's a sketch show. My sketch team is Hot City. We are one of the top performing teams at the Pack Theater.
Wow.
Quoted, Congrats.
Was Broad City already taken?
We had so many fun team names that were pitched that ended up on the that would be our post credits.
Yeah, exactly.
All the different cities we could have been. We wanted to be like Dog City, Cat City, Tomato Town. I don't know, a bunch of fun ones. My favorite is City of Townsville from Powerpuff Girls.
That's funny, yeah.
If I could come up with something that good. And then I'm also on a mod team at UCB. It's also sketch, and it's brand new. But our first show is on we're the last Wednesday of the month, so the 26th for October, or I'm gonna guess the 23rd because that's before Thanksgiving.
And these are all 2022 dates?
These are all 2022 dates. If you are listening to this next year, I don't know where I'll be, you guys.
Well, where would they find your viral tweets and memes?
Oh, and of course, if you are not local to LA, you can find me at LL Cool Scharf on TikTok or on Instagram. And then also if you're a YouTube person, I've been trying to move all my stuff over there too. So you can go just youtube.com/Lauren Scharf. That's right. I got the URL. Wow. Or if you just look up.
You weren't LL Cool Scharf on that one, huh?
I'm not LL Cool Scharf. That came later.
It's a great screen name, by the way.
Thank you. LL Scharf was taken, so I just added Ladies Love Cool Scharf.
Handles are so hard, man, because you're going to have to stick with that thing for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the great one of Brian George F.
Love it.
It's kind of like the one that they recommended to me.
My family had a CB radio in our house and in all of our cars. I wish I could say it was just before cell phones, but even once cell phones became a thing, that was how we would be like, coming home with the groceries, better be ready to help me unload. My mom was Honda Mama because she drove a Honda. My dad was Benucci. My sister was Pumpkinhead, and I was Sweet Pea. And
wait, because of the horror movie Pumpkinhead?
Oh, I don't know. I think she just had a big head, which is something that only my mom would remember because she had to give birth to it.
Out of her chest, right?
But yeah, on the note, that would be what I would be sucked into if I was a kid in Poltergeist, into the CB radio. And they'll still usually call me like Lauren or Sweet Pea.
Nice.
My family. It feels very nostalgic at this point. It's cute. Not as cute as Tummy Vagina, but
yeah. That's your new screen name.
That's my new screen name. I'll start a Twitter, and people will not know the reference.
They were that was recommended to you.
Yeah.
By Twitter.
Yeah.
Tummy Vagini sounds
Tummy
right.
Vagini. It's so cute.
All right, next time on the show, we'll be talking female vampires with Vamp, Life Force, and Innocent Blood. Vamp is one I have never seen.
Yeah.
Life Force I have seen a lot of, which I really like because it's super campy. But Innocent Blood is a great one. I'm excited for you to see that one.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them, so I will be rating these.
We're finally getting into shows where you haven't seen any of the movies. I'm loving this.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Poltergeist on this one, but it's been so long I didn't remember it.
Right.
But looking forward to it. It should be fun. We'll see an actual Tobe Hooper movie this time.
Official. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to subscribe and follow us on all the podcasts and social platforms at the Grindhouse Institute. And if you really want to give us a boost, check us out on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It helps us to get noticed. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Ciao.
Come on, Masha, what are we talking about?
Videodrome. What you see on that show, it's for real. It's not acting.
Why do it for real? It's easier and safer to fake it.
Because it has something that you don't have, Max. It has a philosophy. And that is what makes it dangerous.